Aaron Rodgers going on for the first time as a member of the Pittsburgh football team. Now, keep in mind, he did want to play for the Vikings. They didn't want him. And he even talked to the Giants. He must have been on some ayahuasca when he talked to the Giants. What are you talking to the Giants? You already played for the Jets? You've experienced suck football in the New York tri-state area. Why would you want to play with the other suck team? Anyway, he ends up in Pittsburgh, and so there were discussions with other teams, but he ends up going there. Now, we chopped up a couple of clips for you from Aaron Rodgers here. He covered a wide range of topics. It was like 15 minutes, so it wasn't that long. You can watch the whole thing if you want, but it's pretty boring. So we'll just give you the highlights. That's all you need. You don't need the whole thing. Time is the most valuable commodity you have, so why waste it listening to that? So let me give you a little taste here. Just a little taste there. So Aaron Rodgers. Now, he explained why he waited so long. The long national nightmare came to an end. Why did he wait so long to go and sign that contract? Now, listen closely, because this is a telling answer. Take a listen.
I didn't want to shortchange the guys and be, sign, but be elsewhere mentally or physically. So until I could be here and be all in, I needed to take care of my business.
Okay, got to take care of my business. Now, but wait, there's more. Rodgers says he chose to play for the Steelers after doing some soul searching. Take a listen.
I don't need it. For my ego, I don't need it to keep playing.
No.
A lot of decisions that I've made over my career and life from strictly the ego, even if they turn out well, are always unfulfilling.
That's
but
right.
The decisions made from the soul are usually pretty fulfilling. So this was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys that got here and the opportunity here was the best for me. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I do the same thing. When I come in here and do sports takes, I do it from the soul. I do. My sports takes are from the soul. And when they're not from the soul, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not. All right, so let us discuss the question. Can you parse the words? We gave you some of them. Can you parse the words of Aaron Rodgers and his commentary on the first formal media conference of Aaron Rodgers as a Pittsburgh Steeler? So I've got Bull Durham, Dead Air, and Mausoleum. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to make a Pittsburgh sandwich, which is a sandwich. What's a Pittsburgh sandwich? Well, that's a sandwich where you put the fries on top of the sandwich. That's a Pittsburgh sandwich. Now, we're not going to make Pittsburgh pizza, which is disgusting. In the greater Pittsburgh area, they have that pizza where they don't cook the cheese and the toppings. P.U. What stinks? All right, anyway, get to the point, please. So in terms of parsing the words of Aaron Rodgers, this is rather straightforward. It's rather straightforward. It's by the book, to the letter, if you will. We'll go that far. Now, Rodgers, for much of this, he went what we call Bull Durham. That's an old baseball movie. It's a classic, if you haven't seen it, the famous scene where Crash Davis, one of the characters in the baseball movie there, gives advice to Nuke LaLoosh. And he says, you're going to have to learn your cliches, right? Got to have to learn your cliches. You're going to have to study them, and you're going to have to know them. They're your friends, all right? That's your friends. And so Rodgers has been around. It's not his first barbecue. And so Rodgers knows a thing or two about cliches, and he's very mechanical for much of it, as we anticipated he would be for the most part. He smooched the Steeler history. Smooch, smooch, smooch. Gave a big wet kiss to the Pittsburgh Yinzer crowd there. Talked about all the people that he's worked with who are from Western Pennsylvania and all that stuff. And he was going on and on and on. Now, the first soundbite that we played, though, all right, the first soundbite that we played, that was telling. Because Rodgers confirmed what we had been hearing. He said the quiet part out loud. He said what it sounded like to me. We don't play that cut one. We don't play that again. Let's play that cut one again. Listen to Rodgers here, because I think it's interesting.
I didn't want to shortchange the guys and be, sign, but be elsewhere mentally or physically. So until I could be here and be all in, I needed to take care of my business.
All right, so the way I interpreted that using the MALLER Rosetta Stone is that Aaron Rodgers is still bitter that he got ripped when he was with the Jets for going to the pyramids in Egypt. And he's still bitter about that. So he had things planned. We'll get to that in a second, what he was planning. But Aaron Rodgers, hey, I'm not doing it again. All right, I'll play for you, but I'm going to wait until I'm done with all of my itinerary and all of my travel plans, and then only then I will sign with your stupid football team. And if you don't want it, that's fine. That's what he did. He didn't want the hassle. He had trips planned around the world. He wanted his passport burning a hole in his pocket. He wanted to use his passport, so that's it. He just bounced around, and that's what he did. And he waited, and he's done with his travels. So he's like, okay, I'll now attend the team functions and the workouts and all that crap. And he confirmed it. That is confirmation. That is confirmation. What you heard from Rodgers is confirmation. Now, as for the soul searching and satisfaction for your soul, that was mostly a bubble bath for Mike Tomlin. Suck up to your new boss and curry favor. Nice bromance between Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers. Now, page 2. The other big storyline here is that Aaron Rodgers also confirmed that one of the things that he was busy doing this offseason was getting married. Oh, my God, it's a tabloid story. It's true. Remember Rodgers showed up to the Kentucky Derby with a wedding band, and some people thought that was like a psyop. That was like some kind of weird trick that Rodgers was doing. Now, some guys will go down to the pawn shop to get a wedding band because for some reason women are more attracted to men who have a wedding band. Go figure. Anyway, Rodgers actually got married. He confirmed it. He's got a new wife. Off-season wedding. He's been married for at least a couple of months. And what intrigues you, though? Question, what intrigues you most about the fact that this is a pretty big development? Who cares? It's a tabloid story, man. Okay, but it's kind of a big deal. So what intrigues you most? So for me, it's the dead air. It's the dead air. I have nightmares about dead air. Actually, daymares because I sleep during the day. But I have issues with the dead air. Radio silence. Another problem. Radio silence. You're talking about a public figure, a polarizing figure in Aaron Rodgers, a man that lives in Malibu, right? Lives in Malibu, the part that didn't burn down, and they have an infestation in Malibu with paparazzo. They're everywhere. The paparazzi's all over the place, and there was no leak. We didn't see TMZ helicopters flying overhead, no ex-girlfriend or ex-buddy spilling the beans on the gram. None of that. That's unreal. To my knowledge, as I understand the story, there were no photos. Still, the tabloids are losing their mind. There are no photos of his wife. We know her name, but there's no photos. The Daily Mail and the New York Post are losing it. Oh, my God, we've got to find a photo of this woman. We don't know what does she look like. No, they're trying to get the bottom of it. And everyone's like, well, I don't know. We know kind of her name, but that's it. We don't know who she is. The thing about they've been married for a couple months, I assume if you're married, you normally live together. So they've never gone out in public together in Malibu. They're paparazzo outside every grocery store and restaurant in Malibu. There's no photos of them together? Like walking on the beach even? Nothing? That's bizarre. They say, well, maybe they eloped. Okay, they eloped. I eloped. I eloped in Hawaii. Okay, but even if you elope, there's always somebody at the courthouse who has to fill out and file the paperwork, even if it's done digitally. And those people can call the tip line at Harvey Levin's office over there at TMZ and make $10,000 saying, hey, I got Aaron Rodgers got married to this broad over here. I don't know her name, but here's her name. Boom, done. $10,000 in your pocket. Could be a $25,000 story. Nobody did that. So he said he's married. He's got the wedding. Did he sign the paper? Is this just like a faux wedding? I don't know. So it's interesting to me. We had another quarterback, Josh Allen, who had a celebrity wedding, and there were helicopters overhead. There were paparazzo outside. He got married in Santa Barbara, and there were a bunch of people there. Now, we know Rodgers' family likely was not at his wedding. He doesn't like them, so he wasn't with his family. But to keep everyone in the dark, even his friends are claiming, I thought they were lying. Maybe they were lying that, no, they didn't know about it. Like, nobody knew about it. Like, so Rodgers, he's playing chess. He's playing 4D chess on this one to keep everyone out of the loop, dodging the tabloids like would-be tacklers, running with the football there, ducking the paparazzi. as they try to get a photo of him living his life off the grid in a very, very public place. So forget audibles. This is not an audible. This is a misdirection play, is what this is. Now, the last word here, we head to Cleveland, where the football sucks, but the sound bites are not bad. The sound bites are not bad. So an amusing quote from defensive end Myles Garrett. You know who he is, right? Yeah, he's the guy that almost killed the Steelers quarterback a couple years ago. Threw his helmet at him, went Thor, didn't connect, or Myles Garrett would not be in the NFL right now. Anyway, Myles Garrett is in the NFL, and he was asked about Aaron Rodgers being a divisional opponent, which means you get to play him twice, and here is what Aaron Rodgers' opponent here, Myles Garrett, had to say. Take a listen.
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
Twice a year. I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard.
Oh, my God, he wants to kill him. Call the cops. Myles Garrett wants to murder Aaron Rodgers. Violence. No, I know. So you heard it. The Browns defensive end, Myles Garrett, asked about Aaron Rodgers joining the Steelers. And he said, I think, this quote, I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard, close quote. Do you see that actually happening? Ending Rodgers' career? Well, not because of Myles Garrett making a sack on Aaron Rodgers. We do not see that. Right? We do not see that at all. Aaron Rodgers joining the Steelers, by the way, spoiler alert, Aaron Rodgers did join the Steelers from the other side of the pearly gates. He was in a mausoleum. He played for the Jets. When you play for the Jets, it's like living in a burial chamber when you're playing for the Jets. Your career dies when you play there. It just does. It did for Aaron Rodgers, right? And so Rodgers is looking to be poltergeist and come back to haunt Gang Green by turning out to be the player they thought the Jets were getting, but do it with the Pittsburgh Steelers and all that. And woo, spooky Aaron Rodgers. Now, as for Myles Garrett, it's a good quip. You know, guy's got big feet, known as Bigfoot, so good quip by him. And now, Myles Garrett should know a thing or two about quarterbacks being put into the graveyard. He has witnessed many of his teammates who played quarterback put in the graveyard, so he knows what that's like. He knows the visual on that. And playing for the Browns, boy, there's a lot of bodies buried, and they're Brown quarterbacks there. A wasteland for a quarterback's career.